These War Within hotfixes just went live, and they're changing a few things. Now, we'll talk a little bit about some of these patch notes here. So for Augmentation Evoker, first things first, Scale Commander issues were where Mass Eruption would amplify the number of targets struck by Overlord talent. That's an issue that was fixed, and they also fixed an issue where Overlord could apply bombardments to enemy targets if Mass Eruption was active. So it looks like there were some different ways that those are things that were working that are now fixed. Delves, this is a big one. Fixed an issue where Brand's gathering tool could fail to gather rewards. There you go. The game is fixed officially. That's it. It's in. Last but not least, here are the affix. So Xalatet's Bargain, I'll be honest, it's a tough one. It's not as good as the other one, and the main issue with it is it pops at very unopportune times. If you're in the middle of a boss fight doing some kind of mechanic, and these mobs pop up, it does cause a lot of problems, to be honest. So Xalatet's Bargain, they haven't fixed that issue. I think they should create some cooldown windows where she cannot pop up during certain mechanics, but I guess it is what it is. We did get a buff to the actual buff that she gives when you complete the mechanic. It was a 30% cooldown reduction, now it's a 50% cooldown reduction. But for yesterday, they introduced a Xalatet's Bargain that now affects the cooldowns of additional spells. So I guess it wasn't affecting all spells. There were certain spells left out of the list. Now it affects them all. Grim Patrol addressed an issue where Dragon Shadowburners encounter can reset unexpectedly. For the Dawnbreaker, addressed an issue where the Void Emissary can cause Speaker's Shadow Crown to reset. And then Siege of Borealis, they addressed an issue where the Dread Captain Lockwood can have a second wave of ads spawning during intermission. That's pretty funny. So there's little hot fixes that are in. Now this trinket, it's beautiful. It's a great one, and it's a game breaker. Honestly, it was discovered through the Race to World first. This was the first time it was seen, and now everybody wants it. So what is this little candlelight trinket? Well, it's called the Candle Confidant, and you can get it by doing delves. Now, you're going to want to do this, obviously, at a +8 level, hopefully, to get it at its highest item level possible, and then pump that item level up to 619. And this little candle actually is better than some 632 mythic trinkets. That's right. So this thing is pumping right now. For DPS, this is going to be basically your best in slot. You're going to want to get it, so farm it through delves. And what does it do exactly? Well, it summons 3 little mobs, or I should say one of the 3 little mobs possible. Their names are Wax, Wane, and Take. And really, what you want is you want to be able to get Wax or Wane. So Wax is the caster, sorry. You actually want to get Wane and Take. So their melee abilities are stronger than their casting abilities. What it is Wane is generally the best spawn because he is focused on melee. He does melee damage mainly. Take does both melee and casting, which is fine. And then you got basically Wax, which is the caster. The casting stuff is a little bit weaker, so it does a little bit less damage. But what you want to do is either hopefully spawn Wane or Take. And the best thing you can do is actually be in melee range when this happens. Because whenever Take spawns, he does both casting and melee. He will run back and forth to do one or the other. So if you're out and ranged, he will run to the boss to do a melee hit and then come back and do a cast hit. Basically, you want to sit in melee. If you sit in melee, you will essentially allow Take to do more melee and damage because he doesn't have to run back and forth when he wants to cast. If you get Wax, there's nothing you can do about it. He's just going to sit there and cast. But again, getting Take or Wane is going to be your best chance at getting a boost in DPS, and the boost is quite substantial. Like I said, this was used in the Race to World first, and it was a big boost to damage. One of the best trinkets in the game right now for DPS, which is freaking hilarious. I don't know if that was by intention or not. But basically, you're going to want to farm this thing through delves, get it done. There's also some different things that interact with it. If you're an orc, your command, racial, will also buff it a little bit. And then if you're a Diablo... Jesus Christ, that knock. If you're a Diabloist warlock, your buffs to your little minions will actually buff the minions that are summoned by this trinket. So it gives it even more of a buff. So yeah, this is a funny little trinket. Go ahead, run those +8 delves, and hopefully you have the loot luck that I never have and it actually drops. Moving on to some interesting stuff from Blizzard in terms of the anniversary event. They've been dropping stuff all over the place, and this was dropped over the weekend on X. So this is pretty cool. These are some concept arts that were posted up, and these are really cool. These were from the past. We have Burning Crusade here. Look at this, Wrath of the Lich King, Ice Crown Citadel concept art. Look how this thing used to look. It didn't actually end up looking... This looks interesting, actually. I'm going to move on from this and not talk too much about it, but I would say these gates aren't what actually came into the game. The runes are interesting on it, for sure, and we'll just stop there. For Cataclysm, we got Deathwing coming out. Yes, the hentai tentacle fight, one of the worst boss fights ever put into the game, but still, I guess the concept of it was pretty cool, given that this was the art that they came up with. Missa Pandaria, still one of my favorite, most underrated expansions, I would say. This was actually good, man. It got a bad rap because of the Kung Fu Panda shit, but otherwise, it was actually a really good expansion, and I did enjoy my time in the Mists. Warlords of Draenor. This one's really cool. He's got like some kind of cannon on his hip, and he's got these little demons here loading it up with some, what's it called, some ammo or something. This is really, really cool. Did we ever see mobs like this in the game? This is such a cool concept art. They definitely should have gotten these guys in. I don't remember ever seeing somebody holding a weapon like this, but overall, pretty damn cool. Legion. There he is. Hold on. There he is. Lord Varian. Oh, man, I miss him, man. Varian was a Giga Chad. He really was. This was pretty cool, and yeah, maybe that was the Wrathgate, by the way. This is a nice little concept art from the cinematic, it looks like, and yeah, Varian, I should say, writing down his plans as they approached, you know, the burning shores and everything. Man, the waking shores. It was a great cinematic, great expansion. Legion was awesome. Battle for Azeroth. Battle for Azeroth had potential, man. This is really cool. It's like some kind of zombie troll. Look at he's stitched together and stuff. Battle for Azeroth had potential. It really did, and I feel like it finished much stronger than it started. Azerite armor basically tripped it up out of the gate. They had to put all hands on deck to fix Azerite armor, which led to a lot of issues down the line where they couldn't make other content. They couldn't expand on island expeditions and all this other stuff, but eventually, I feel like it found its form. Battle for Dazar'alor, one of my favorite raids added into the game, and overall, the whole old god stuff at the end with corruption armor and everything became pretty damn fun, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh. What to say about Shadowlands, man? There really isn't anything to say. We'll just move on. And then last but not least, here we got the original... Look at this dwarf. Man, can I make this bigger? We see, no, that's about it. Look at the dwarf fighting the orc. This is freaking cool. This is some old concept art. Man, they never brought this type of damn orc into the game. We need this samurai-style orc. I wonder why. The Blade Masters, I believe, is what they call them. We never got anything like this in game, unless you play maybe an orc monk, but then you don't get to play with a weapon like this. I do kind of wish we saw Blade Masters at some point. I thought, is it a hero spec at this point? I don't know. For monks, I have no idea, but I think Blade Master would have been a really cool concept for orcs to have. The dwarf and the orc fighting here. This is some classic WoW art for sure. Moving on to some War Within stuff. So they also dropped some War Within concept art that was used for Hallowfall. So the artist herself, Katerina Pulley, I guess is her name. She dropped some really cool stuff from the concept art that she worked on for Hallowfall. We could check out some of that real quick here. Obviously, we've seen this stuff from the art book, which was pretty cool. Different versions of the Hallowfall crystal. What you can gather from this, not much other than they're really thinking about doing different things. This one right here, completely covered in clouds, is pretty cool. They do talk about how the crystal itself radiates a lot of heat. So, and that's the reason why there's clouds around it. Interesting thought there with, you know, how the whole light and, you know, flaming light is working right now in Hallowfall. No Shadowlands, no slappy hands. True. These concept arts are really cool. I love looking at this stuff and how they kind of started with the ideas of Hallowfall and the people. Look at this priest right here with the giant torch. This is badass. The guy praying to the light here. Really, really cool stuff. Again, Hallowfall's aesthetic, to me, is honestly S tier. It's one of the best aesthetics they put to the game in a long time. Their lore is great. Their armor's great. Their architecture is absolutely glorious. Everything about them is... Look at how cool these buildings are and everything. The WoW artists, you know, say what you want about WoW through its ups and downs. Even Shadowlands times. The WoW artists just always do great work, man. They really do. As in terms of art and art style, WoW always just is peak. Peak MMO for me, at least. And I've always loved looking at the art stuff, looking at the concepts. Look how cool some of this stuff is, man. Really cool stuff about Hallowfall here to be seen. This link will be below if you guys want to check these out more. The Frostmourne Replica returns to the Blizzard store. Do you have $1,500 burning a hole in your pocket? You don't know what to do with it. You just got to spend it right now. Right? Screw the troubled economy. go buy yourself a Frostmourne replica. So the sword itself has returned to the Blizzard store. That's right. If you want to go ahead and get yourself this big boy replica for no less than $1,500. That's right, $1,500 will get you the replica. Now that little stand right there, not included. Not included for the $1,500. You're going to have to spend a little bit more to get that. How much more will you have to spend? Well, the sword is $1,500. Oh, you could save 10% right now if you give your email to Blizzard. There you go. You have to spend $200 more to get that stand. I'm buying that hoe and the ice stand. Speaking of the ice stand, so yeah, $200 for the wall mount stand. If you want the ice stand, like my boy Burning Viking and the 100 bits he just gave out, thank you so much, you're going to be spending another $600 on this ice stand. Now, this ice stand does have LEDs in it, and it does glow in some shape or form. There it is. You can see the glowing there in the ice and everything. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this isn't probably the coolest item they've ever put on the Blizzard store. It most certainly is. But that coolness comes with a damn price, and that price is $1,500. I don't know how, you know, man, look at the chips in it. It's detailed. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can't say it's not amazing. But damn, it's expensive. $1,500, if you got the money to spend with this all in all being $2,100, I mean, go for it. Go for it, because this thing is absolutely glorious. Moving on to character restorations. It looks like if you deleted a character recently and you want to go ahead and restore him, the cooldown has been lifted. That's right, the cooldown has been lifted until October 15th, so starting today and every day going forward until October 15th, if you restore a character, basically needs 60 seconds and that character will be back. Typically there's a 7-day cooldown period when it comes to actually restoring characters, but if you deleted more than one, you want to go ahead and do that. I don't know what the actual how long ago it has to be or how short of a time period it has to be between when you delete it and when you can restore it to still be able to restore it, but you can go ahead and give it a try. If you accidentally deleted a character or there's a character you deleted that you want back for some reason, you have until October 15th to go ahead and get that done at a less of a cooldown. No more 7-day cooldown, at least until then. And then last but not least here, reputation bonuses. That's right. Reputation bonuses are back in a big way. Here it is. How long will it be on there? I have no idea, honestly. I don't think they say. They just kind of sell them and they sell out, and then you got to get restored on spot or on what's it called, material and everything else. But so this is what you're doing with reputation right now. Reputation is a big deal, obviously. There's a lot of things you can get from the different reputation renowns. Killing rares is often given some really cool reputation tokens the first time you do it, especially these ultra rares, I would call them. These guys spawn less. There's sometimes stuff you have to do to get them to spawn, and typically when you kill them the first time only, you get a reputation coin that gives you a lot more rep for whatever it is that you killed. Well, that has been reset, it looks like. So now you can go back and kill these guys again to get another reputation token, where it was once thought to be limited to one. We don't know if it's going to reset again, or Blizzard did this by accident, or what it is, but it has been reset, so you can go around and kill these guys. Now, who are these guys? Well, in the Isle of Dorn, it's Karaki, Rotfist, Zovex, and Elunaria, who didn't have her rep token reset, but if you've never killed her before, you can still get it at least for the first time. Then you got Ringing Deeps, Deep Flayer, Broodmother, and Lurker of the Deeps. For Hallowfall, you got Beladar's Spawn and Deathtide. And then for Ashkahet, you have the One Left and Takakath. I don't know what the hell how you say that name. But anyways, yeah, these rares, you can go ahead and find them. I'll link this obviously below the video, and I'll link this in the chat right now. But you can go find these guys and get your reputation tokens again for the first time, a second time. So that's pretty cool.